and my favourite causes, longing for the future. You can arrange a phone call, a video call, or even a home visit to chat through your wishes.
So anyone who uses future, choose to include the RSPCA and then
We do have
if you care about animals,
we can
the wonderful way to keep them safe from harm, ask your goal. In fact, over half of all of our work is funded by gifts and wills.
The RSPCA's free voice service has given me peace of mind that my loved ones are looked after, and leaving a gift to the RSPCA means I can protect those in need.
To arrange your free will, call now on 0800
I remember when we first sat on that bench.
983.
I sat down the
Also,
first time.
RSPCA free will.
Best model over. And Andy came over, came out and just wanted to get like a bit of fresh air in the sun. I think my list my bipolar, my ADHD, I've got patience with you. Patience,
Yeah.
I ain't got patience for people that I know comes.
Oh.
Get me like, what do you do for? Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't even like you. Sometimes I've said it, I ain't got shit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think about it. Have a job in a shop and how are you today? But you don't really care. You just, this is a normal thing we ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, that's running. Let's do it. Wonderful. And that's, doing that and that one, that's the life. Right, ready? Adam, this is where I know I've got addiction to my phone. Because now I can't do it. I've got that phone there. I can probably have a sip in it and do all that. No, because I haven't eaten. So it's like, it's a good thing to leave your phone indoors with your own hand collar.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have a quality conversation with someone, are you? Or,
No.
maybe it's not just be out of a man. We can chat about that online. Ask them 2 or 3 questions. And then leave the up and down the right. Push paper 3, push paper colour. What do you do today? Just keep the phone there. So copy that, copy that.
Yeah.
Copy that. It's a few others. They're talking about themselves.
Yeah.
Me not answering your rank immediately. Adam. Me not answering your rank immediately.
Yeah.
Led to 4 phone calls that day.
Yeah, I know. Oh, is it?
I led to 4 phone calls. So I know she ain't got no one else to talk to who's a man who gets a rest what she's talking about. She also knows I've got 2 sisters. So I know exactly what she's talking about. So when they try and play that, I'm ill, but I still work, I'm ill, and all that sort of stuff. You know, your head space is clear because you offload it all on people to her.
Yeah.
That ain't fair, is it? Because I don't go, well, my back's hurting, my head's hurting, my fucking dick's hurting, and worry about my mum that's dying. My dad was still old. I know.
Yeah.
For 3 hours. 3 hours with telling me about dead people.
Oh.
And sending me videos of 3 hours. I'm not being horrible, that's what I know if I die tomorrow at my funeral, yeah, it'll be my family, my friends, and yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas you know if you passed away, I do it there. Say goodbye. Don't know.
Yeah.
I throw your coat hanging down there as well.
Oh, thank you.
Just in case you go up. Or next ones. That's what you can do.
Well,
The flowers will be coming next.
there's one thing I would like you to do. Is turn around and
Told you he was ill.
put a phone inside my pocket and then text me saying it's dark in here.
Yeah, that's it. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
The Irish one. What am I doing in here? She goes fucking dark. Yeah. Right. Hello, hit the like and subscribe button, please. Like and subscribe. The microphone on. So be careful what you say.
Oh, by the way,
Right.
Yeah.
Cassandra, my, friend, and Cassandra, Stendhal.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Right, well, I'll leave you two to have a little chat then. See you later.
I was under the impression that Arnie was a good family man. I mean, all he ever spoke of was his wife, Gary, and young Stephen. So I know, and I'm under the impression that Gary and young Stephen are about 6 foot tall, and they like to dress up as ambulances.
What, you mean it's their ambulance? Ah, can't be Del. Remember when Arnie come over there in the restaurant? It was a staff that phoned for the ambulance.
Yeah, but it didn't offer right quick, though, didn't it?
Yeah, come to mention it, it was a bit lively.
Anyway, I phoned that restaurant this afternoon, and the manager told me that 10 minutes after Arnie's ambulance arrived, no one turned up, no real estate.
You reckon they could do it with split second timing?
Right.
At 1 o'clock, Arnie does his dying.
She's had no questions
3
about the
minutes
business
past one,
yesterday.
his boys turn up in their ambulance.
likely to be protecting Cyprus and other UK allies rather than the Strait of Hormuz. So drones is what's being considered there. Now, the other thing that Mr. Miliband was talking about today was, of course, help for people with their heating bills. And we can expect to hear something from the Chancellor, possibly the Prime Minister as well, on this in the next coming days, because there's an anomaly here, because people who use heating oil are not covered by the gas grid, so they don't benefit from the energy price cap, and a lot of people in rural areas, often people with lower incomes, are suffering. So we can expect the government to provide some help there over the next day or so. The Energy Secretary said today in that interview to Trevor Phillips, we are going to fight people's corner. So throughout this war in the Middle East, both the Chancellor, the Prime Minister, and now Mr. Miliband have been very conscious of the fact about that prices going up, whether it's at the petrol pumps or it's energy bills at home, are creating real strain for people. They're very keen to do something to help. And so there's every sign that that's going to happen the next day or so. And as well as, of course, further decisions to be taken about military support. And whilst it looks as though ships going to help out in the Straits of Hormuz is unlikely, partly because there aren't any available, those drones, the Ministry of Defence has confirmed today, are likely to, because of the way they've been developed for Ukraine, they can obviously be used elsewhere and used in the Gulf as well, and in possibly in the Strait of Hormuz.
John Craig, our chief political correspondent. John, thank you. Well, the pro-Iranian rally is underway in central London this afternoon, despite the Met imposing its first ban on a march in 14 years. Our correspondent Thomas Moore is there. Now, Thomas, the march, the protest is going to wrap up around now, so what's it actually looking like?
The march hasn't happened, the protest has just finished. Remarkable how quickly at 3 o'clock, which is the time they were supposed to stop their protest, they put down their flags, they start shouting, and they are rapidly dispersing. It has been a peaceful protest, it has to be said, but with many fewer people than had been expected. Around 12,000 were thought to be coming down to the Al-Quds Day protest, an annual event, normally a march to central London, but a static protest this year because the Metropolitan Police was extremely concerned about the potential of violence and disorder on the streets of London. So about 2,000 people here. On the other side of the river, you can just see a few flags. That's the counter demo, separated by the River Thames. They are people who are against the current regime in Iran, some anti-Semitism protesters and so on. And so the police are very keen to keep the two groups apart, using, for the first time since 2012, the Home Secretary banned this march, insisted on static protest only between the hours of 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And it does seem people are, let's say, rapidly dispersing, certainly the speeches that are happening on the stage. Those have finished. So this has been an unusual situation. We spoke to a large number of people who are really very divided on what's happening in Iran. These unusual circumstances with the conflict has raised the potential, would certainly increase the emotional divide here between the protesters, one side and the other, with the conflict in Iran very real.
Thomas Moore with the latest from that protest. Thomas, thank you. Now, the U.S. Energy Secretary has said the war will end in the next few weeks. However, Donald Trump told our sister channel NBC earlier that he's not ready to do a deal with Iran to end the war because, quote, the terms aren't good enough yet. In a wide-ranging, nearly 30-minute telephone interview, the president also said that U.S. strikes on Kharg Island on Saturday totally demolished most of the island, but that we may hit it a few more times just for fun. Our correspondent Sally Lockwood has the latest now from Dubai.
We've had more missiles intercepted over the UAE today. We've had blasts here in Dubai, also blasts reported in Abu Dhabi, and these attacks continue multiple times a day here. I don't think those comments from Donald Trump that they may once again attack Karg Island just for fun will go down very well in this region, because this is far from a game here. This is having wide-reaching implications, not just when it comes to the immediate security of Gulf states like the UAE that are enduring missile and drone attacks every single day at the moment, but the impact that it's going to have on the economy. It's already being affected. We've seen how it's impacted aviation, it's impacted shipping, it's impacted oil, and it's impacted the economy in terms of tourism and the financial centre of Dubai, which Iran has now said is a target as well. And it's resulted in a lot of people evacuating, a lot of companies evacuating their staff, and no one really knows how long it's going to go on for. But certainly if you listen to the rhetoric coming out of Washington, it feels very escalatory. That attack on Karg Island yesterday was not well received by the Iranians. They hit back saying that the attacks came from UAE territory, which the UAE won't be happy about, because that makes the UAE even more vulnerable. And they flatly denied that those attacks on Karg Island came from the UAE. But it's made us much more vulnerable here, because they even threatened last night to attack 3 port areas in the UAE, one just south of where I am now here in Dubai, and warned residents to evacuate the areas around those ports. So it does feel very escalatory in terms of language. Donald Trump, of course, has said he's going to send 5,000 Marines and sailors in this direction, which suggests the war is not going to end anytime soon. There's a lot of signalling from both sides. But I think right now, the real concern is that Donald Trump, at some point in the next few weeks, we don't really know, is going to decide that this war is over, that there's some sort of victory, or he may even find an off-ramp. But actually, for this region, for Gulf states in particular, it's very much their daily reality at the moment, and the consequences will last far longer than the war and potentially even Donald Trump's time in office.
Sally Lockwood in Dubai there, rather. In Israel, 2 people have been lightly wounded in an Iranian missile attack. Israel's military says Iran launched a round of missiles towards Israel early this morning. Sirens sounded in Tel Aviv and loud booms were heard. Rescue services say that they are aware of 23 damaged sites. Meanwhile, Israel's foreign minister has accused Iran of committing war crimes. Gideon Zar was speaking in Zarzir in northern Israel, where dozens of people were injured earlier this week in a missile attack.
While we are targeting military objectives, military targets, regime targets, this evil regime in Iran, the Iranian regime is targeting civilians. It's not only the way they're acting against Israel, it's the way they are acting against no less than other different 10 states in this region, Arab states and other states, that they are attacking civilian infrastructure and so on. So this regime, not for the first time, committing war crimes, and the whole world must see.
Well, our military analyst, Professor Michael Clark, has been looking at the wider situation across the region.
The suite of technologies called the Maritime Mine Countermeasures System, and it's pretty good in terms of robotic boats. So there's a boat called the Ariadne, which is a robotic boat. There's a system called the Sweep system, and there's another one called the Atlas, which is effectively the mothership to all of these things. So the Royal Navy does have this capability, which is developing very fast, in order to avoid putting ships in the way, having minesweepers, the ships, the specialist minesweeper ships. But you can do it without them by using robots. But it's a fairly young system. It's never been tested in combat, as far as I know, and this might be its first test if the government is prepared to deploy it. So the government is certainly interested in offering this, I think. What we can't offer is minesweeping ships. We used to have 4 of them based at Al Jafer in Bahrain, and they've all been withdrawn. The last one, HMS Middleton, was withdrawn about a week ago. So we don't have any ships we can offer. The French have got plenty of minesweeping ships, and it may be that ships are still the best thing you can use, but the technologies we've got are, in theory, on the table if the government chooses to go in with some sort of international force. But I'm sure it will only do it as part of an international effort, which is maybe coordinated by Europe, not as part of the American plan, because I'm pretty sure, as Ed Miliband was implying in that previous interview, the government does not not want to be seen to be joining the American attack. Anything we do is to defend our allies and defend the global interest in free trade, probably in a European context. There's no question about it now. The war is spinning out of control in ways that the Americans might well have anticipated if they'd done any homework on it. I mean, the fact is that there's plenty of people, there's any number of Iranian and Middle East specialists who could have told you that this was likely to happen. The only doubt was how long would it take? And I think a lot of people have been surprised that the Iranians have jumped, right up the escalation ladder. Yeah, and I think the Americans thought that the Strait of Hormuz might be closed if the war went on for a long time, but it's such a big thing to do. I think their assumption was the Iranians wouldn't do it immediately, maybe not at all. Instead of which the Iranians did it almost immediately, and they've widened the war from day one to the rest of the region. Now, in the long run, the Iranians may lose from that, because when this is all over, the region that had been previously quite tolerant really towards Iran will probably be very hostile to the future of Iran. So in the long run, it may not do them any good. But in the short to medium term, this tactic of making the war a general regional problem and a problem for the world economy looks very successful. And the fact that the United States seems to be surprised by this is testament to how little thought and planning actually went into it. Great deal of thought and planning into the military operation, apparently almost none into the political side of it, because it all depends on the instinct, and we know it's an instinct of one man. He's not a strategic thinker by any stretch of the imagination. He makes different decisions depending on which side of the bed he gets out of every morning, and on the 28th of February, he got out of the bed and decided to go to war.
You're watching Sky News today. Coming up, we gear up the biggest awards night of the season, the Oscars.
The cameras are poised here, there, everywhere.
The day those present would never forget.
First question, Sky News.
Do you hate the thought of losing to him? I hate the thought of losing to anyone.
Historic day is here today. They are pushing forward.
They dash to the water.
Wait, what country? From the UK? Why don't you go back to their country?
Huge questions to grapple with. That is totally unprecedented, been quite something.
We start with breaking news.
WLC online auction taking place today. Register now and start bidding. Hundreds of luxury lots will be sold at up to 60% less than RRP or market value. Choose from prestigious watches and jewellery, collector's artwork and furniture, designer clothing, handbags and much more. Our fleet of vans enables prompt, secure delivery, and our 5-star service is validated by our excellent Trustpilot rating. Sign up today at wlconlineauctions.co.uk.
6 weeks can make all the difference. Running to greet you at the door, jumping up on the sofa, playing fetch again, and again, and again. Whatever your dog's age, YouMove can help. Formulated by vets with scientifically backed ingredients, see a difference in just 6 weeks, or your money back. Guaranteed.
Get a complete view on your finances with your credit score and report. Download the free app now. ClearScore, best friend for your finances.
Stop! It's my aching legs. I don't think I'll make it.
Susan, it's 20 steps back to the car park. It's time you tried Revitive. Revitive Circulation Booster is clinically proven. It relieves leg aches, pains, cramps, and swelling. That's why it has thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. And it's drug-free. See? No drugs, no rubs, no drama. Visit revitive.com today.
This Women's History Month, Ancestry is celebrating all the women in your family by opening up millions of records for you to explore for free. From mother to daughter, from past to present, from them to you. Because their story is yours. Start exploring with Ancestry today for free. The government is planning a big crackdown on people caught fly tipping. Ministers are set to give the Environment Agency new police-like powers with those caught illegally dumping waste, also facing the prospect of points on their license if caught using a car. Our correspondent Sadia Chowdhury can tell us more.
They're being described as police-like powers, and the government says that they're needed in order to stop waste criminals
in their tracks. And essentially what it means is the Environment Agency's powers are going to be widened. And they've outlined a number of these already, including that enforcement bodies will be able to share some information with banks and financial companies. And the idea behind that is so that they can share and inform them when there's been a waste crime, and that leaves the banks and those financial companies with a decision on whether or not to continue doing business with such individuals. They've also outlined a number of other powers that would be part of these plans, including searching properties without an arrest, seizing assets and making arrests. Of course, we know that the Environment Agency can already bring prosecutions. Last year, they brought over 100 prosecutions, leading to 10 direct, immediate custodial sentences. But this means that the Environment Agency will have really significant powers, will become one of few organisations with such enhanced powers. The agency is led by its chief executive, Phil Duffy, who says we are not standing still, and says that while having more boots on the ground is important in tackling these criminal networks, he says we also need to make sure our officers have as many powers as possible to bring them down. Well, it's all set to be published next week, and the government's Waste Crime Action Plan, which is all about trying to take a hardline approach against waste crime, and this is stuff like fly tipping and all the way up to large illegal waste sites like the one that you're seeing on your screen right now. Yesterday, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, outlined that it has some powers in this as well. They want to see points on driver's licenses for drivers who throw illegal waste out of their cars, and local authorities will be encouraged to seize and crush those vehicles. Now, if it sounds quite familiar, that's because it probably is, because we know that the Conservative government, the former Conservative government, also mooted ideas like this in 2024. But these are just plans now, and it needs a lot of parliamentary time allowance to be able to be brought forward as changes. Now, the Oscars are upon us, and Timothée Chalamet is among the nominees for Best Actor at tonight's Academy Awards. The marquee Supreme star went above and beyond for the role, mastering the art of table tennis. Our arts and entertainment correspondent Katie Spencer looks at just how much commitment it takes to win that coveted statuette.
Acting is no joke. You'll find a common thread among those stars who go on to get an Oscar. If you want to win, you've got to do more than just learn the lines. This year, that meant Timothée Chalamet taking on table tennis. Such was his commitment to the film Martin Supreme, he started training to play the game back in 2018. Before being paid off the head of filming with tennis expert Diego Schwartz, sure, you might have seen him knocking a ball around while remembering words of music. I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it on check. Looks like what the timing has to be critical. His balls play at different speeds with different spins. He has a good sense for that. He learned it very quickly.
We talk a lot about winning the Oscar requires that to go the extra mile.
He was completely committed from the beginning. He said, yeah, I want to get this right, and we're going to do what it takes to make it really good. Every point plays over and over and over. There's no missing. You just keep going and keep going.
See, our experience is just that, and it takes 2 friends to do it, but
yeah,
not the end of the day. Anyway, so,
This is the first example of Chalamet being an actor who goes
£100 worth of phones.
He's been Oscar nominated twice before for A Complete Unknown. He spent years learning guitar and Bob Dylan singing style. And for Call Me By Your Name, he learned Italian.
not bad, but is it enough to rank alongside some of the all-time great Oscar winners?
You're grateful
Crime
for what?
expert Samuel Westall
Anything you...
staying in a wheelchair
Well,
or getting
yeah.
seated. Rated all Robert De Niro trained as a real boxer in matches. And in The Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio ate bison liver and climbed inside a horse carcass.
My name's David, and I've got a big one.
If we're awarding A for effort,
Sam,
the
I've
only
got a
trouble
big
is
one.
that Michael B. Jordan, who didn't just play one character but two, is also up for Best Actor. Twice the line, double the work. But is Timothy more deserving of the win?
Of course, I'm super biased, but his commitment was second to none.
Soon, Chalamet will find out whether he finally nets his first Oscar or whether he strikes out for a third time. Kate Spencer, Sky News in Hollywood.
Now, it's Mother's Day today, and Prince William is remembering his late mom, Diana. He shared a photo of them together with the caption, "Remembering my mother today and every day." thinking of all those who are remembering someone they love today. Happy Mother's Day, W. And the King has also shared a Mother's Day message. He wrote, wishing mothers everywhere and those who might be missing their moms today a restful motherly Sunday. Alongside photo of the Queen and Queen Mother. Himself as a child with Princess Anne and his mother, Queen Elizabeth. And the photo of Queen Camilla and her late mother,
You're cold and my fucking
and now
throat.
look at the
Yeah.
Well, so doctor's surgery, everyone's
You're
already.
looking happy.
Yeah.
Well, the forecast looks good. So you've sorted the travel insurance then? All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors Sky News Weather.
Well, we'll see a brief return to colder conditions overnight, but it does turn milder tomorrow as cloud and rain spread north. High pressure building in midweek will bring higher temperatures, but also a lot of cloud. This afternoon, cloud and rain will become increasingly confined to East Anglia and the southeast, with sunshine and showers elsewhere. It will feel chilly for most, with temperatures widely in single figures, along with a noticeable wind chill. Some of the showers will be wintry over the higher ground of the north, and there is the potential for the odd rumble of thunder. Overnight, blustery showers will persist in the northwest, but will tend to die out elsewhere.
All Clear Travel Insurance proudly sponsors Sky News Weather.
You're watching Sky News today. Coming up, the Energy Secretary tells us the war in Iran is in nobody's interests. We'll bring you that interview after the break.
Huh? Yeah.
Now it's finished.
And then I was thinking this breakfast, egg bacon, sausage, mushrooms. If you eat mushrooms, tomatoes. Nice brunch.
Yeah.
I'm working on you got plans come up. We got hand parking, it's nice, if not, we just do a nice holiday. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Oh, Lord.
Not rushing you or anything, no, but what time you reckon you got at the chemist? There's no rush.
No. Get out of the way.
I thought about visiting a showroom and ordering a sofa for well over £1,000. I decided